allow me welcome you once again in a special way and inform you that we are glad that most of our invited guests have arrived. And so without so much ado, we are definitely going to formally begin our engagement for today. But the fact that Uganda is a God-fearing country, and it is also customary of me that before I even begin, I will go to someone and call upon the goodness of our Lord. So I'm going to ask my sister Mugoya to kindly lead us in prayer, so that then we can go into the other agenda items. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Let's come out of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this morning. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come before you. We know that you are young, you so of glory. Father, we surrender this session into your hands. We pray that you make it successful, Lord, for glory, and that this session that has prepared this to glory, that it will be a success for us, my God. We pray that as we start this journey, it will be a great journey for us, and that Lord, Uganda, that is your great glory. With this session, we are going for the grace. Father, Lord, I thank you, I surrender the system into your hands, and I pray for that the Savior has also for that you give them the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that I will be able to take us through. I pray always to believe in a fast saving prayer and that's our Lord.
Many times my sister, that's really passionate and loaded prayer, and it gives me all the confidence that by God's grace we are going to move well. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to inform you that this is how we can proceed in this session. We had a word of prayer, and I'm glad that you've done justice to the breakfast. We are going to begin an introduction because it is important that we interact, that we share our experiences, keeping in mind who are those people in the room. So after a round of introduction, we shall have welcome remarks from the CEO of the United States of Banking and Financial Services, which will then usher in the opening remarks from our beloved board chairman. And then we shall have a keynote presentation from the executive director of FIA, who we are actually waiting for. And I'm confident that by the time we all that, we will have arrived. So that will definitely trigger a panel discussion from our board facilitators and resource persons who will be able to share with us their experience and to charge us to all commit to fight this problem. So without so much ado, my name is Gerard Paul. I'm a financial economist with a background in investment management and financial crime, but I'm also into climate finance and tax professional. So I'm here to represent the United States of Banking as we deliberate. So I'm an associate trainer and I'm an associate consultant at the United States of Banking. So without wasting time, allow me to request people to introduce themselves so that we can have the confidence that we know who we are talking to. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is I am the shortest serving MBA 63 years.
Thank you. That's a bit. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Uibfs, and I'm the CEO of Financial Services, and I'm delighted to see you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Gary. I'm managing director of management, also the chairman of the board of the Institute of Banking. I like to be here.
Great. Once again, my name is Uibfs. I'm the business administrator for Uganda, but I'm also the privileged to serve on the board for the last.
Thank you.
morning, please. My name is Alvaro Uibfs. On behalf of my CEO, Uibfs of the bank, I represent Business Bank.
Good morning. My name is John Good morning, everyone. My name is Uibfs. I'm actually the head of the CC Division Head, account of Uganda. I'm here representing the supervision.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Uibfs, the Acting Commissioner of Police in the Republic of ICC.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Simon Baba, representing the Director of Good morning, my name is Frank Siga. From EDB Bank, my name is Senegal, but I am the chair from an Laundering committee of the UBS.
Good morning. My name is Ghana Nicholas.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Samuel Wasishe from EAP, Ghana. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Timothy Chiara, and I'm a senior organizer at Paramount.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ruth Mamona, a compliance officer at United Bank of America. Praise the Lord. My name is Lydia Babo, senior psychologist at the wonderful private finance, and I'm here representing the head.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shashir. I'm the member of the Smart Minute. Good morning, everyone. From Private Microfinance, representative of the Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Richard is only representing the city of Holland.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alexander Manager, Project Finance.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Victoria Natijini, Head of Compliance, Value to Mr.
Salam Tulumika and happy to be here. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Anthony Olomo from Abasaba. I'm part of the Number and Security. I'm also here in my capacity as the chairman of UBA Executive Committee. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Associated Secretary, Manager, Operational Risk and Financial Rights,
Good morning, everyone. My name is Christopher Iriga of the EDB.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Guaya, Canada Bank and Financial Services.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hassan Kasson Monge. I'm representing Compliance Department, EcoBank.
Yes, good morning. My name is Ali Twaha from Uibfs. Good morning. My name is Moses Ndai from Kenya.
Good morning. I'm Titus Jemba from PBS TV.
I'm never together laundering.
Thank you, Mr. Muganya. Please help me with that microphone.
Good morning, all. My name is Stephen Waza. I head programs for the Standard Chartered Bank, but I'm
Good morning. My name is Kenya Paul Michael. I head business technology at the Uganda Development Bank. I'm also the chairman of the UPA and CT and Cybersecurity Board.
Thank you, sir. Very many thanks for that round of introduction, and I'm glad that we have an idea of who is in the room. So without so much ado, I would like to request our CEO, Mrs. Asante Goretti, to come and give us welcoming remarks and try to give us the perspective in which we are going to be able to interact. Can we give her a loud of applause as she comes?
Thank you very much, Paul. I think it was very good that you asked for that round of applause, so I feel energized even if you may not clap again. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, once again, very good morning. Mine is a very simple welcome to you all. But I'd like to start off by appreciating and recognizing the people in the room, the names. You have all introduced yourselves by name. Today we are supposed to have the Executive Director of FIA is going to be represented by the Head of Training and Compliance. Our very special guest, the EDS, who is represented here today. Our dear panelists today, you're all very welcome. And of course, the industry captains in the room and also representing our board, our council. You're very welcome, and you're the custodians of everything that we are going to talk about today. The risk compliance and audit teams, our very special partners in development, the members of the press, the management and staff of Uibfs. Allow me to say very welcome today for this very important event. I would like to thank you in a very special way, for honoring our invitation. Our invitation today is about exposing to you the program that we have come up with to support us in fighting money laundering and terrorism financing. I want to apologize. Everybody who called me assumed it was a training. We are talking about the issues we have in the industry regarding this and the program that we think is going to support us. And that is very important. We have come up with a program that will include a few discussions with the panelists. We will definitely have a keynote from FIA who would have introduced us into that discussion. And then we'll tell you a little bit more about the program. Luckily, the key consultant that helped us with this is here with us, and that is Paul. I'm going to request you to kindly feedback as we move along. Do participate, ask any questions. Everything you say helps us. Uibfs, most of you know it from a distance. You have heard about it, but you know it from a distance. We are here simply to fill in your needs, your gaps, your pains. We actually prefer to deal with your pains. But many times you come to us asking, do you really have a course that works for me? Or you do not have a course that works for me? We don't work on courses, we work on pains. You give us your pains and we deal with them. Our mandate is two-pronged. We are here to professionalize the industry and to also ensure that we promote financial inclusion. And in the area of financial inclusion, of course, those are the people that you deal with, but on the other hand, those are the people that may bring challenges to you. Having said that, I want to close because I won't be speaking much more later. I am hoping that we are all participating in the Bankers Gala, Sports Gala, I am hoping that some of us are already doing the fitness challenge. And I'm also hoping that when we now start the Banking and Financial Services Awareness Month, you will be on board. Those are my very few welcome remarks to you. And now it's my honor to invite the board chairman, Mr. Michael Ngari, to give us the opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our CEO, Goretti. The representative from Bank of Uganda, Godwin, representing EDS, colleagues, the CEOs and captains of industry in the room, and fellow colleagues in the industry, in the sector. I'm so pleased this morning that listening to you introducing yourselves, I saw representation from different sector players. But also importantly for us as a country, for me, us coming together to share and launch this program together is a very big milestone for us, because I think the underlying tone there is that we are all recognizing the importance of us fighting this vice. We are recognizing, we are affirming that this vice is here with us and we must fight it together. And one way of fighting it is by empowering ourselves. And empowering ourselves includes some initiatives and activities that are going to be ushered and opened, and the way we shall get a good overview this morning. So important activity for us this morning. I want to congratulate you for coming to being part of this great initiative and milestone. And I'd like to believe that your commitment and presence here is testament and testimony that we are all together in this fight and to win and to achieve victory in terms of not just getting a country of the credits, but actually removing this vice that we all know and are cognizant and actually undermine our strength, the strength of this country, the strength of our economy, and the many good people out there that are doing a good work in terms of growing the economy and actually making our economy vibrant. So to my remarks, which I will read, I want to thank you. Good morning once again. And it is my pleasure to warmly welcome you to this very important initiative for our industry. And that is email, CTF breakfast and formal lunch of a 3-tier email CTF course. 3-tier because we are looking at board and top management, we are looking at compliance and risk and compliance teams, but also general staff. And I'm glad that organizes the different aspects and layers through which we must fight this, so that together we provide the right oversight right from the base to the top. Our economy is founded on the projected path to recovery. And our industry, colleagues, our industry plays a crucial role, it's a critical role along the growth journey. So for us to achieve the middle income status, the banking sector, the financial services sector, and the many sector players that are represented by the various stakeholders in the room, all of you play a big role. And this is through engagements with the public, both at individual and institutional level. So we recognize that. So, but one is instituting our core mandate as bankers, it is important to know that the industry bears the risk of being a conduit for the activities of wrong characters that will undermine the safety and government efforts of our country and great like-minded institutions across the globe actually, through money laundering and terrorism financing. So these are some of the growing issues that we as a country and as an industry are grappling with. And not just Uganda, but the world over. So here we shall have an opportunity to get a first-hand information in terms from many speakers and panelists that will later be having a conversation here, in terms of the issues, the risks we face, and the initiatives to counter these risks. more specific information regarding the efforts undertaken to improve our rating, because quite a lot of effort has been put to improving our rating as a country. And also many sector players involved, not just banking, but different actors. But we all are key stewards that can actually counter this. And this for me is a great step in terms of us achieving that. So it's against this background that the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services has brought a comprehensive course to equip and empower all key persons in the money laundering and financing terrorism cycle with relevant skills, competencies to identify, to manage, to mitigate money laundering and terrorism financing in the operations of financial institutions. But not just financial institutions, but and all important sector players. And when you look at the rating matrix, you find that it's not just banks, the financial services sector, if you go back to introduction, include it's broad, it's not just banks. So, so for us, that's very key. So these are aligned to our mandate of professionalizing the provision of financial services while promoting inclusion. As the Institute, we are keen to ensuring that we drive inclusion. Many of Ugandans out there are outside the financial services sector. We'd like as much as possible to see that many Ugandans are included in the financial services sector. But also that we have professionalism. Professionalism has been lacking. We want to see how can we continue to empower, to equip, to strengthen the paramount content of professionalism in the industry and sector. So that's paramount, and we believe initiatives like this are key to strengthening this aspect and mandate. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take the opportunity to thank the Executive Director of Supervision Bank of Uganda, represented by Godwin, and I did speak to him last night, who had a lot of good comments about you, Godwin. I have read them to you here. I also want to thank the captains of industry that are in the room. I see quite many, and those that are representing CEOs and captains of industry. I want to thank you all for your tireless efforts and contribution that have enabled the development of a comprehensive capacity enhancement program that we launched today. In special, I would like to appreciate the Financial Intelligence Authority for working the journey with the Institute of Banking and Financial Services and for supporting us in reviewing the course content to ensure that we meet the requirements of a comprehensive program that will enable compliance and greater compliance of financial institutions. So we moved this from just being a program. We want it as a program, and that's what we are launching today. From just a mere course to a comprehensive program that will actually meet the needs of this evolving environment in this space that's quite complex and that we grappled with as an industry. So I want to thank the Institute of Banking and Financial Services and the entire team there. I'm excited about this development and what it will do for our industry and sector, and not just industry and sector, but the economy at large. I look forward to the discussions and the result of this program, and I implore us all as key stakeholders to equip ourselves. Partners, like you've come to attend the launch and be part of this initiative, I also want to implore us to take the message away. It is for us, it's incumbent upon us. Here is an initiative that we must win. And for us to do it, we must do it together. And for me, the commitment of us coming here, it's not just the breakfast and cup of tea. No, yes, I thank us for the breakfast and the cup of tea. But it is the activity, it is this conversation, it is the initiative that I believe is the big win for us. And for me, there is absolutely no doubt. Because the many big things we are doing out there will be undermined if we don't nip this in the bud. And the time is now. So I look forward to very fruitful conversations here. And I thank you and pray that you all enjoy a productive morning with us and make the most of it as we head into the weekend. I thank you all and wish you a great Friday, a great conversation here. Let's, as I had colleagues say, feedback. Let's share these aspects Let's bring the challenge here in the room. Let's fight together. Even as we roll out the course content, the Institute of Banking and Financial Services keys your institute, bring us the ideas, so that together we build a strong institute, we equip ourselves, and we take charge of this economy and sector as these stewards and champions of this and captains of this sector. So thank you very much for listening to me. Wishing you all a great Friday and a great morning. Thank you very much. Bye.
Many thanks, Mr. Mugabe. Can we give the chairman and the CEO a huge applause? Truth be told, you inspired me, and this reminds me of I think 1 or 2 weeks I was in the Francophone West Africa, some assignment. But it was strange that they knew our prominence in financial crime. They knew our prominence in what? Was bad. So what brings us here is to have a discussion and see how we can collectively work to undo that. Met a couple of fund managers, global fund managers, and their issue was it would be a good country because it has the talent. I was glad that among countries that have talent, Uganda is one. But now the challenge is our investors don't want to hear anything close to what? Financial crime. I'm glad that we have the ED of the FIA, and soon she's going to be able to present, to give a keynote presentation, which will usher us into a panel discussion, which will set the narrative and the discussion so that we can all make a commitment to fight against financial crime. So I'd like to thank our chairman and the CEO for that generous presentation and welcoming us. And I would like to thank everyone who has invested in time to come and so that we can have this. So without so much ado, allow me to introduce to you Miss Fiona Nabagala. Miss Fiona Nabagala, can you kindly wave a little bit? Good. Beautiful. She represents the ED of the FIA, and currently she's the acting director. She's the acting director, training and all that. She'll be able to tell us better, because for me, I knew her in another portfolio, but she'll be able to give us better. Of course, her profession, she's an advocate, and she's a certified anti-money laundering specialist. And the experience she has in this field is that she has developed the AML CFT training programs, legal drafting, regulatory compliance, monitoring, and enforcement. I'm confident that we have the right person. Someone is saying otherwise? No. So without so much ado, let's give her a round of applause as she comes to present to us the keynote presentation, which will usher us into our discussion. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, in all your different capacities, great awards, thank you so much, Mr. Mugera, for that wonderful introduction, for that elaborate introduction. As introduced, my name is Fiona Nabagala. I'm the Manager Training and Outreach, currently the Acting Director, Compliance. I'm here on behalf of the Executive Director of the Financial Intelligence Authority. And apologies from him, he could not make it for this very important engagement because he had other commitments. But on behalf of him and the FIA at large, we would like to appreciate the Institute for this wonderful effort to ensure that you bridge the loopholes through conducting training. This helps us to boost the compliance levels in the banking sector, the financial sector as a whole, to ensure that we have a sound financial sector. So in addressing you today, I will focus on the following areas: the scourge of money laundering, that is the scale of the problem, so that you appreciate what we are encountering, and the risks associated with it, how we need to combat it, and why we need to combat it. Then I will dive into the status regarding the implementation of the AML CFT regime and the way forward. To start with the scale, globally it is estimated by the United Nations Office of Drug and Crime that money laundering is at a scale of 2 to 5% global GDP, which is about 1.87 trillion euros laundered. At the national level, it's about 5% of the national GDP, of Uganda's national GDP, which is estimated to about 0.81 billion to 2 billion money laundered annually. That is at 2021 by the United Nations Office of Drug and Crime. So you see, as a country, we have a big challenge to ensure that we safeguard our financial system from being manipulated by the criminals. And we are all aware that the risks associated with this, it affects our reputation as a country. The integrity of our financial system is also affected and dampens the effect, the direct investment, foreign direct investment to the country. It affects the revenue as well, and our reputation is affected. So what this means is that the threat is real, so it affects the sound management of the banks as financial institutions. It's how does it do that? It can affect the reputation of the banks and hamper the funding, as well as the relationships, and maybe even the survival of the banks. So we need to strengthen the legal framework, legal, institutional, and regulatory framework to make it hard for the criminals to launder money, to make it difficult for them to launder money, because they take advantage of the loopholes in the legal system to launder the money or to move the funds to the less regulated countries or jurisdictions. So we need to tighten the legal framework here, and the biggest challenge we have is the implementation, the effectiveness of the legal framework. The documents, the paperwork is there in terms of laws, but the effective implementation of these laws is still a big challenge, and that is what is still lagging us behind as a country when it comes to demonstrating the effectiveness to the Financial Action Task Force. You may note that banks have been identified as the primary focus for money laundering because they provide an entry point to the money laundered into the country, into the financial system. That is at the placement stage when the money is introduced into the financial system. So you'll find that more efforts to combat money laundering are directed to the banks. And from the recent findings of the National Risk Assessment, it highlights that the banking sector is high risk. Therefore, we have a lot of work to do as the banking sector to ensure the financial soundness of the financial system. So by Uganda being on the grey list, we are all aware that we are on the grey list. It is a global, it affects us because it sends a global signal to the international community, to the international banking community, that they need to adopt enhanced due diligence or scrutiny on whichever transaction is coming from Uganda. This is affecting the business of the banks, and the correspondent banking therefore is affected because during the relationship of the bank, the different banks enhance due diligence is exercised on any transaction originating from Uganda or destined to Uganda. So therefore it affects business. The FATF member communities also exercise precautions when it comes to doing having financial dealings with us as a country. But however, we are working tirelessly as FIA, as EOU, as other competent regulatory authorities to ensure that we get off the grey list. As of now, we had 21 items, action items to address on the grey list on the action plan, and 20 have been addressed. The one that was lagging behind, that we were lagging behind on, is the beneficial ownership information, submitting accurate beneficial ownership information. And I'm glad that by Friday we shall be able to know our status, and this, we are confident that this will be largely addressed. So in the effort to ensure that we exit the FATF grey list, we have enacted the laws that explains the enactment of the anti-money laundering amendment regulations, which introduce the administrative sanctions to ensure that those who are in breach or violate the compliance obligations are penalized. So still with the same motive, the anti-terrorism amendment regulations have been enacted to address the issue of the deficiencies in the legal framework in regards to the implementation of the targeted financial sanctions. The Companies Act has also been amended to provide for adequate beneficial ownership information as a requirement for the registrar of companies and also for companies. So where we are right now, the status is there is a new sanction regime which has been introduced by the anti-money laundering amendment regulations, and this FIA, BOU, IRA are more than ready to enforce this new sanction regime because the Amendment Act extended the scope or widened the scope of the regulatory authorities to ensure that they impose sanctions on those that they regulate. So BOU is more than ready to impose the sanctions on the banking sector because we lack the statistics in regards to the sanctions that we have imposed, and we need to demonstrate to the party that we are imposing a sanction regime. Another development, we as FIA, our mandate extends to developing training programs for accountable persons, and we recognize that training is an important tool to use to ensure that the sector is safe and sound. So this will enhance the understanding of the money laundering aspects, the typologies, and the FATF standards, so that the accountable persons understand how these are very helpful in combating money laundering and terrorism financing. However, we have a challenge currently. The recent technical advancements and the globalization have offered and will continue to offer more sophisticated means to combat the ill-gotten funds into the legal funds. That is, for example, the use of the virtual currencies and the regulation of the virtual assets service providers, the cryptocurrencies. So as banks, the biggest challenge is to recognize this technological globalization that has given launderers an opportunity to explore the new techniques and commit to cover the crime. Therefore, we need to be vigilant and dynamic. So the way forward is FIA is coming up with a mechanism to ensure the regulation of the AML safety regulation of the vast virtual asset service providers. We are working hand in hand with them. The NRA finding revealed that we lack the knowledge in the products and the applicability of this business. So we have had an engagement with the VASPs and we have a working group to ensure that we close that gap, we understand the business and come up with a mechanism of AML CFT regulation. For the banking sector, therefore, you have to ensure that the corporate governance structure and the risk management systems are designed to take care of the risks, because FATF demands that we need to understand the risks that we are exposed to and mitigate the risks accordingly. So the risk management frameworks are very crucial. It is important, therefore, that we need to build a strong AML CFT culture, and this we can do so by enforcing the administration of sanctions. Because the only way to wake up people or remind people about compliance is if we enforce the penalties for the breach and violation of the AML CFT obligations. Ladies and gentlemen, there is still more work to do because the threats are coming up, the Dolores come up, and therefore to exit from the FATF list, it heralds a new era and new challenges await us. And this includes us ensuring the sustainability of the progress that we have made so far and continuously adapting ourselves to the resilience of the AML CFT matters. And this should be at the forefront of the agendas of the competent authorities, that is BOU, FIA, IRA, CMA, among others. We would like to appreciate the bank and the institute for this effort, and FIA is ready to support you on this. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
Can we kindly give her another huge applause? Many thanks, Fiona, for that generous and elaborate exposition of where we are and what we need to do. As you're presenting, you reminded me of one country that is very active in one of my lines, that is investment and fund management, that is Mauritius. We all know it. Of course, it has been very, very active, not until it was slapped with a classification on a what? On a grey list. I would like to tell you that it sent them back, and even up to now, they are struggling to ensure that they can get the trust that investors had. In one of my engagements, I engaged with a couple of global investors who were initially domiciled in Mauritius. But much as Mauritius has done a lot to ensure that its systems are robust, the global investors up to now, they don't yet, they don't have the trust. That shows how bad it is. So this discussion should help us appreciate how bad things are and deliberately join hands to see how we can better it. Many thanks, Fiona. It was really insightful. So without too much ado, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, welcome our expert panel, and I'll be reading one by one as they take their seat. We have Mr. Godwin Nakana Senyondo, who is the acting head of AML CFT division under the Supervision Directorate, Bank of Uganda. He's a certified anti-money laundering specialist, and his work experience is 14 years of bank supervision. Mr. Senyondo, let's give him a huge applause as he comes. Thank you. Please feel comfortable to sit with everyone. Thank you. We have the Deputy Senior Superintendent of Police, Mr. Imojong Godfrey, who is, of course, that is at the Uganda Police Force. He's the head of the department. The head of the department is the one representing. The head department is Economic Crimes and Financial Intelligence at Chibuli. He's a certified AML and financial crimes investigator. He's a certified AML trainer, and he's specialized in fraud investigator with 23 years of practical experience in fraud investigations. Let's give him a huge applause. Thank you, sir. Please be comfortable. We have Mr. Iga Francis, who is the head of internal audit, DGB. He works as the chairman, UBA, Fraud and Forgeries Subcommittee. He has worked with various banks in Uganda as the head of internal audit, including KCB, Ecobank, Global Trust, Post Bank, and also Centenary as the principal internal auditor. And is a member of Uibfs and the Institute of Internal Auditors. Of course, he has seen it all. Let's give him a huge applause as well. Thank you, Mr. Iga. Then we have Mr. Lawrence Omon. Mr. Lawrence Omon. Mr. Lawrence Omon is, of course, he's a seasoned chief compliance officer with 14 years banking experience, and he has developed and implemented effective bank policies and programs, a proven track record in navigating complex regulatory landscapes, mitigating risks, ensuring ethical business, and he's grounded in this industry. He works with Opportunity Bank as the chief compliance officer. He has an MBA and he's a certified fraud examiner. And let's give him a huge applause as well. Thank you. Then we have Mr. Simon Ogwal Kajura, who is representing the director from the Inspectorate of Government. He works as the manager asset recovery unit under the Directorate of Legal Affairs. He's a lawyer, and from 2014-2022 was a member of the National Task Force of the AML CFT. Then 2018-2022 was the chairman, evaluation and compliance grade, that is within the party style body, that is SMLAG. Then he headed the country delegation to Eritrea, Rwanda, Burundi. He's a law enforcement expert. He has worked as law enforcement expert in Zambia, Kenya, but also he's a team leader of the National AML CFT Threat Assessment Team. Let's give him a deserving round of applause. Thank you. So, without so much ado, following the generous presentation from Fiona, I would like to begin with Mr. Senyondo to give us his to share with us how he sees the things. Yes, Mr. Chairman. Okay, Mr. Chairman, apologies, but maybe for some, the spiritual eyes are showing some ladies this side. But thank you, it is noted, and I know the CEO going forward, she will try to ensure that she doesn't do injustice to her gender actually. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Paul. Good morning once again. Greetings from the Director's Provision. Representative of the ED, Fiona. Thank you very much. I'll speak and give my comments on the Bank of Uganda perspective regulator. As a competent authority, we had, just like any other accountable person in the country, we all had work to do, given the situation for him being released. So, on the Bank of Uganda again, we were able to, first of all, enhance our staffing in terms of MLCMT examination oversight. So we've received board approval to enhance our previous instructions of division now, with room for growth in terms of staffing, because there was one aspect that was conservative, given the SFIs that were, the kind of SFIs that were giving oversight on. So that is what we've taken good strides on, and we believe we've scored quite well in that aspect. We hope to get numbers close to almost 15 by early next year, while specifically looking at NL70 matters in the industry. You heard from Fiona, the National Risk Assessment 2021 still rates banking industry as high. So as a regulator of this space, there is no way we can sit back and don't really tighten up our belts for what lies ahead. We've been able to conduct a series of MLCFT specific examinations, and that was one of our requirements, because MLCFT matters were being looked at previously and by the Prudential division as just part of operational risk. So we've been very specific, looking at it and issuing reports specific to MLCFT matters. Arising out of that, we've been able to share a circular of common deficiencies that we've seen in the banking industry. And this was issued out to the CEOs. You were given a timeline of 31st August this year to have addressed all those common deficiencies. Now you had from the FIA, the issue is implementation. We have the legal framework. What is lacking is implementation sustainability. So definitely the regulations were amended to introduce dissuasive sanctions, and you've had from the FIA, Bank of Uganda will not hesitate to use any of the available sanction tools to make sure we keep in line in terms of our compliance with existing laws. Still as Bank of Uganda, we we have a mission with IMF that is running to develop a comprehensive sanctions regime. That will help enable us to have enough room to play within in terms of sanctions application. Because what we have right now is a bit limiting. So we hope to have that exercise done by next year. Have some internal tools. So that will be done. We issued guidelines related to customer due diligence, suspicious reporting, risk assessment. All these are available on our website, the Bank of Uganda, for you to read through, benchmark where necessary. The standard is bare minimum. So when we come to examine you, we expect not to see less than that, but do better, but not less than what we've guided. So I'll touch the aspect of beneficial ownership. So that is the sticky meat that is remaining in all these immediate outcomes. As you saw earlier this year, Uibfs did issue circular directives. We did follow suit and guide you on how best you need to mediate your existing customer relationships, especially related to legal entities. And we gave you up to end of this year. Make sure all your existing legal entity customers have filed their legal information with the USP. That we're going to drop the implementation as soon as that timeline expires. I'll try just training. So I'm very happy that the Institute of Bankers is coming up with these courses, even specific to MLCFT. I know we've received a series of requests from some of these players, even as well as the Forex bureaus. We also oversee Forex bureaus, by the way. We do non-banking, not banking. So we have a very big group there of about 300 Forex bureaus that we have to supervise in terms of MLCFT. It's a lot of work, but we get geared up for the challenge. However, there is need for training. When we interact with that space, we realize that our friends there are lacking a lot, even in terms of knowledge about the legislation. So please take up these courses to the institute where we can support the training. Will be available. If I ask to do the training, but given the work that we have, we may not be able to honor all the requests for training that come up. Otherwise, give me 5 minutes to give my perspective. But that is where we stand in terms of Bank of Uganda. But remember, if we got off the grid list, okay, and we're hopeful, the issue will be how long can we stay off. Okay? Paul mentioned Mauritius. Mauritius got off the grid list within 1 year. But we've had the effects. It's still properly with. Now we'll stay there almost the longest. Okay? So once we get off, we need to now look at sustainability. How can we keep off? So that's the question I leave with the rest of you here, the rest of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Godwin. Thank you, Godwin, for sharing with us your perspective, which is quite informed and guiding. Comrades, I would like to inform you that breakfast is ready for those who have just come in and those who have been around. So let's have it. We enjoy our interaction. Thank you, Godwin. Allow me to bring in my brother Simon. Simon, over to you. Please share with us your perspective from the Honorable IGG. I love it whenever you talk about the lifestyle audit. It's a buzzword. Anyhow, please go ahead. Share with us your perspective. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, colleagues. We are glad to be here to share our perspective with you. Personally, this is an area I'm very passionate about. I'm also passionate about speaking in public. So please bear with me if I seem to rant on. I'll try and restrict myself to the training aspect of AML, because I think that's why we're here. And I'll try to give anecdotal examples that can help us contextualize, if I may say so. I would like to start with the mutual evaluation of Uganda that was done, the on-site was done in 2015. The report came out in 2016. Those of you who have read the report know that on most of the technical compliance aspects, the assessors concluded and the global network agreed that Ugandan authorities did not understand risk, did not understand AML, did not understand anything about this field. It was disheartening, and of course in effectiveness, on all areas were ranked the lowest, were low. That's why in 2017 we had the national risk assessment, at least to understand our risk. Because they kept saying you've not assessed, then how can you understand the risk? Right now, I think we are in a good place. We've also reviewed the national risk assessment report, and I think the 2021 report, which was I think submitted in 2022, at least now we fairly understand. But even to do that, we had to undergo training of how to assess the risk, helped of course by the World Bank. So training is, in my view, extremely important. Two, I think across the room, they were saying that the sector captains, I think most of the people here are from the compliance sector. The other thing we need to note is that even for the FATF standards, they keep getting reviewed, both in terms of what is required as a standard, but secondly, how to review and establish whether you're complying with that standard. For example, I had the EDFIA mention buses. Buses were introduced, I think, just on the DD 3 or 4 years ago. And even when you're compliant, when you're reviewed, you can be taken back to non-compliant because now the new standard is going to. So the institute is going to be really, really helpful in this because we have to stay ahead of the curve. Once something comes up, you bring people up to speed and then they can start complying. Thirdly, they talked about the praise. I'm aware that the representatives from the National Task Force, led by ministers from Internal Affairs, the Honorable Attorney General, and the Ministry of Finance, were in Amman. They had the meeting, first meeting yesterday with the joint group, and from the little noises I'm hearing, I think we should be relatively comfortable that that phase of going to explain what we put in place. BOU has expanded the ML unit, beneficial ownership is now in place. I know that the report was, I think, about 98% compliance because the ones who didn't comply were removed from the register, which URSP should be really, really complimented. Now, the next stage after that, as a country, is to do the on-site. The on-site is now them coming to check whether what you've been reporting, when you go to Senegal and Amman and the rest of Livingstone, you give a rosy picture. Now they are coming. And now they're not going to look at task force members who have been poached. They are coming to meet the rest of you, the practitioners. So the institute, I think, will be very, very, very helpful in now doing the training so that when these people come, because I personally am an assessor and a reviewer. So when we go to countries, we don't want to speak to the FIA because they know. Fiona knows, she has all the answers. But we want the practitioners, the people who are going to stop, because like bankers, financial institutions, that's the point of re-entry, or sometimes even investment in terms of like corruption. So we want to speak with you, especially the compliance officers, the ML officers. They want to know that you actually know what you're doing. So I think the institute is going to be very helpful in this, in training and ensuring that as a country we are ready. Now, lastly, I don't want to take too much time, I've not finished my years yet. Lastly, there is something that I must say. I think a lot of these things we say, people out there look at them as talk shows. People don't understand the effect. I think it's a duty of the institute, and I was glad to hear that you're going beyond financial sector, because you are the leading experts, because under you, I think there's something, you have rules that are similar to ML rules. So you are ahead of the curve. You was ahead of the curve in terms of enforcing ML, although they were not calling it that. But you need to help the rest of the accountable persons, the accountants, the lawyers, the dealers in precious metals, real estate when they come on board, and the rest of the guys. You need to help them. But one of the things that can work is to tell people the practicalities or the challenges we face because of the grey list. For example, if you're put on the grey list of FATF, you are automatically blacklisted by the EU. I don't know, some of you may have seen in the papers people complaining that we went to a forex bureau in the Netherlands, we tried to exchange $500 and they took 500 euros and they said no. All you can exchange is 200 because your passport is Ugandan. Somebody talked about FDI, direct investment, foreign investment. We have so many people who would be willing to come and do business here. But they tell them, be careful with any business that is regulated by government. Because under the national risk assessment, we determined that we believe corruption is the one that produces the most proceeds. Now, corruption traditionally is government regulators, or whoever is making a decision, demanding for either money to do what it's supposed to do, or not to do what it's supposed to do, or diverting resources to private gain. So, if you're to do anything, there is a chance at some point you have to pay a price. And in terms of anti-money laundering, when you commingle good money and bad money, you have a challenge. The other last challenge, there's a lawyer called Silva Kayonga, I think is very active on Twitter and in the cyberspace. There's a time he tweeted saying, I was to be paid $10,000. But what happened is that 5,000 was taken in fees. If you're on the grey list, you are dealt with caution. That's what grey list means actually. Deal with these people, but be very cautious. Blacklist is don't deal with these people. Right now, it's only North Korea and Iran that are on it, so who are headed there. But I'm glad that has been advantage. So you will lose business opportunities. There will be de-risking in terms of correspondent banking. I think you all know how difficult that becomes. There will be all these things. So as an institute, please, my appeal to you would be come up with this program should help not just that side of the technical, the captains of the department, but also have an outreach program that can tell the Muntua 1C that these are the issues that we're suffering simply because of non-regulation. And then I think we shall make it. Thank you.
Many thanks, Simon. Many thanks, Simon, for sharing with us your perspective, which is quite guiding. Thank you. So without so much ado, let's go to Mr. Ojong Godfrey. The police is very active in this space. and I love the way how you smile. Please share with us your perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, perspective of police, particularly CIP, as an institution of government, constitutional mandated to investigations, and we take pride. ML and the violence and terrorist violence, something that's committed within our group as bankers, as banks, and then as individual bankers. This is due to the fact that the transactions of ML and TL, they pass through the banks and they are processed by individuals who are employed by the bank. And I know that banks are faced with dilemma of the need to follow the law, because the law is there. Like for instance, the law requiring suspicious and non-transactions to be reported to FIA and other regulatory bodies. And they need to serve the interests of their client and keep in business. So from our experience in the course of our work, we have had situations whereby you find that some legal requirements like reporting suspicious transactions are either not done completely or they are done quite late after the money has moved. And yet the law is there requiring you to do so. In so doing, you will have actually facilitated offense of payment or guilt. And under the Act, you become eligible for investigation as suspects. It's a big challenge. Banks also have their respective operations manuals, which contains like the procedures to be followed in handling the transactions. It's like the standard operating procedures. But in the course of investigation, when you look at the different manuals for different banks, there is lack of uniformity. And there are gaps which are there. At times you even feel to think that maybe they are made deliberately in order to facilitate. So as Institute of Bankers and then the Ghana Bankers Association, there is need to get together and see a way of coming with the common operations manual in which we can be asked to put in our input. That can be submitted to audit. So that we see to it that it addresses all the potential risks of laundering money and financing terrorism. There is also a challenge whereby you find that the banks have claims, at times without the clients, for instance, who receive the suspicious money in huge sums, and then without looking at maybe the history of the claim, the financial history of the claim, and then we have had cases whereby forged documents are used. The client presents forged documents basically to justify the transaction and see to it that the money moves. And those are not subjected to due diligence, further verification of the source. But you find that the claim is served, and at the end of it, the transaction turns out to be criminal, the money is laundered, and certainly may end up definitely getting into terrorism financing, which will come back to threaten the security of the country and us as individuals. So there is a lot that needs to be done. Those are just some of the few challenges. And then, as a measure to address them, there are several things that we need to implement. One of them is the need to follow the law. The law is there, but why is compliance not there? We need to follow the law and find a way of striking a balance between following the law and then carrying on with your business and serving your claims. It's very important. There is an urgent need for amendment of some of the existing laws because there are gaps that offer a lot of opportunities for ML and TL. There are ways money is raised and it's raised without maybe proper detection. If you look at, for instance, an example of use of public functions to raise money or to launder money that's illicitly bought. If you bought it like, for instance, the way we hold our functions, the weddings, those big functions where there's no record keeping. That money that proceeds of crime and thief can be loaned in such functions. We don't have a law requiring record keeping of such. And somebody can just, if an investigation arises, say, no, this were gifts during my function, this were gifts. I had so many people who contributed, and I cannot identify them. Because there is no record, it offers a very big opportunity. There is need to amend the law to have such collections also monitored and regulated. There is a need to invest a lot in training and specialized training, especially currently there is a serious stage of trend of crime, cyber fraud. Cyber fraud is targeted at money, and a lot of money is lost through it. People can steal money while not physically being there at the bank. They can sit somewhere far, even abroad, and the money is taken. So as banks, law enforcement agencies, and other partners, we need to invest a lot in the training side and keep abreast or on top of them. And when you look at some of the people who are arrested in such crimes, these are ordinary people. And some of them, most of them have a standard below O level. But they have the brain power. They have the ability to do practical learning. And then they hit the bank. That one affects the economy and the institution itself. There is need for much sharing of information and intelligence. I know as banks, your hands are tied by the law, or the need to maintain confidentiality of the client's information. But where there is suspicion, which is properly evaluated and correct, in the interest of the economy and security, I don't find anything wrong with you tipping off. As long as there is proper suspicion, reasonable suspicion. So sharing of information is a bit not adequate. Then communication, coordination and cooperation, we also find challenges with that at times now. We can solve a code product required asking for information that can help us expeditiously carry out investigation of effect and arrest. But the process that takes long for us to get the information, and you find that there is no little coordination between the banks and us who are enforcers. So they need to employ a lot of creativity in handling your business as banks. Like for instance, as a bank, you can follow your client up the road. Using a friendly approach that the client cannot even know that you are following him for the purpose of maybe the requirements of the law for getting information and the rest. It's rare for banks to visit, casually visit or to visit clients' businesses, to see that really somebody is doing a legitimate activity with which the money that comes into your custody or your hands is being transacted. In most cases, it ends on money comes, money is paid out. And then at times you find they engage the client once in a while with a view to invest the money in the business. You need to find a way of getting to the bottom. You have a lot of opportunities. Further that, those days banks used to go up to the villages. You go as if you are trying to mobilize players to come and bank with you. But in such situations where you have like you are target person from which you want to verify information, you can reach the bottom of the spirit and then you get more information about him.
It's good for you. And you kindly how to find out what to be investing against.
Thank you. There is need for financial profiling of suspected persons, creating local, regional, and international relationships, continuous evaluation of existing systems to avoid risks, and also the need to upgrade them. See, the ICT systems have been compromised. Sensitization, trade awareness, development of common SOPs, doing background checks on the employees and players. Some of the frauds and the managed data for ML and time to find the employees are involved in facilitating it. And then migration from this one, something that needs to be something that's beyond us. This urgently where things have reached to migrate from paper and going money to e-money. Because that one, it leaves a trade where you can follow somebody up to the bottom. And when we do that, we just prepare to enlighten the prisons. We shall enlighten all the people. And we just have to spend people expanding the prisons. Because with that e-money, you can be able to follow each and every person who has come in contact with that money. And then strengthening the risk detection and control measures. Of course, supporting also other law enforcement agencies. We have challenges with banks coming to testify in court. Some cases we have reached courts to get a statement from the bank staff. To get a lot of challenges. Now to get to testify, in order to be able to decide it's a big challenge. Of course, strengthening regulation by Bank of Uganda and by Uganda Bank Association, etc. And then as issues of bankers. I don't know whether you have this in place. You need to teach ethics. To recruit people, to train them, but when they come out with a problem, we need to introduce teaching of ethics if it's not there, and do background check on them. Thank you, sir.
Many thanks, Dr. Craig. It's only time that is disappointing us, but we would have loved to enjoy your experience and your perspective. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Giga Francis. Please share with us your perspective from the BA and as a bank.
Thank you very much. I have both good news and bad news. From the Fraud and Boundaries Committee, actually some of the key highlights panelists have mentioned. We are trying to address some of them, and that's the good news. We are coming up with the guidelines, and as Mr. Mugabe is aware, we've tabled them and we've actually discussed them with various stakeholders. Now, as they put us on the grey list, we are also going to put people on the grey list. Actually, if a customer defrauds a bank, it's going to be very difficult for that particular customer. And it's one of the deterrents that we are coming up with. Now, in the guidelines which we are trying to finalize, the other time we went to the UN board, and I think the telecoms and the UN boards would have been in this house. Because, like the ED mentioned in our presentation, technology has aided the facilitation of financial crime. Now, how many of you have the national IDs in your phones? By show of hands, if you have your photo, your national ID in your phone. Majority. How many of you know that if you lose your phone, it's very easy to remove the password that you put on your phone? That even take 3 minutes for the fraudsters to remove that password. You know that? If you don't know, it's very easy to remove whatever complicated password that you put in your phone or your iPad. Now, all banks, mine inclusive, we are all trying to do digital banking as part of our strategy. Now, that is facilitating actually financial crime. It's very easy now to wipe your account out within just a few minutes. And the thieves have learned the tricks. And this is, I'm not teaching you how to be thieves. We are going to take you some because we've investigated and we've seen how the crime is perpetrated and how much we lose billions of shillings through the banks and payment boards. And that's how the problem come in, that whenever we are discussing financial crime, we should not leave the payment boards outside because they are good facilitators of the sale. Now, once they land on your phone, regardless of whether you are to put the password, remove the password. Now, how do they get your PIN, your bank account, for money to be wiped out in a very short time? It's like they collaborate with the people in the territories who are able to give them the PIN. So the people in the territories don't have your SIM and you don't have your password. But the fraudsters know how to remove the password and then they collaborate with the other guys. Now, that doesn't end from there. They have really established SIM cards, very many. Like you've been talking of the e-card. Even when they start, they have really established SIM cards, very many. So they can send money on various SIM cards within just 1 minute. Like 60 or 100 SIM cards have received the money. Once the transactions are done, they throw away the SIM cards. Now, when the police is facing actually who are these beneficiaries, you find an old lady in the village who doesn't even know or has a group of how the money was actually stored. Now, what does it mean to banks and in fighting financial crime? Is that as we develop technology, we should also develop mechanisms and risk deterrents in managing the sale. Our customer service lines, we need to create awareness for our customers that once you phone or you target the story, the first point we go to is your bank, not the police, not the terror. Because the terror, what they do is to disable the lines in terms of communication, but they don't disable third-party services in terms of whatever application that you have in your phone. Then we need to educate our staff, and this is how the training is going to be handled, to develop a culture of when everyone, right from the board to the lowest staff, is aware. Now, what I will speak in terms of audit, whenever we be auditing, especially the and it's been just like a checklist or a tick box. People just do the formula, and they don't have a background or a proof of why we are doing this. So you find the customer who is because the large sum of money, all the staff is doing is to ensure that there is a document, regardless of whether it makes sense or it doesn't. And now, this is the EP, the FID. Whereas banks are put under too much scrutiny, but there are other facilitators, that's the accountants and the lawyers. I'm an accountant myself, but we've seen most of the legal documents that come to the bank to support the transactions that come from the lawyers. And a lot of them, now, coupled with our staff not having the kind of risk awareness in terms of payment, they just accept the documents and they tick the box. Did you take supporting documents? Yes. But does the document make sense? No. That is there. Then, also from the board and at management, senior management level, you find people are so much influenced by the drive of getting deposits and the cancer. Like the MPs of banks who think about in many and of them, they are so much focused in driving business in the form of cancer that they do not believe in the implication of the deposits that they are trying to pay. It's sort of standardization, and that's what is happening. If it's a deposit, another bank accepts it. Then, but for you, when you give your check, that customer should not be back, but another customer will bank in you. So that's an area where we need to strengthen. Then we've not been collaborating enough. Like, you get information about one customer, but you don't share. Now that's the good news that I say, that the guidelines are going to help us. Now, in these guidelines, once the customer is from a particular bank name, it will be mandatory so that bank report in our fraud portal. Mr. Uibfs and Mr. Michael Kenya, the ICT committee members, they are seated over there. If any of us have a photo, which photo we are going now to report all instances of AML and financial crime. Now, if you don't report, for example, it's good to this and can represent the CEOs here. If you don't report a particular incident, now in the guidelines you will enacted, it will not only be your bank that will be penalized, but even the CEO personally will be penalized. That's what we put there. And the guidelines that the final stages, our external legal counsel have reviewed with them, other stakeholders have reviewed with them, and everyone has said this will go overdue. Then, if now someone has already been reported and is on report, you are not supposed to recruit that particular staff was from another institution because the photo is available for you to check the information. If now with the phone you recruited such an individual, you will also be penalized for recruiting such a person. Now we have two lists. We have a gray list and a black one. Now the black one is once you convicted in court with law. Your name is going to be put on that blacklist, and you will be there for 10 years on that blacklist. What does it mean for you to be on that blacklist? Is that you will not be bankable in any of the financial institutions, and not only the banks, but also the telecoms. You don't even have mobile money. You can say, I believe the banks are not telecoms. No, you don't go there. Now, to enforce that, if a member institution have signed on those guidelines, it is told that if bound with such a person, he will be penalized. So it will be very difficult for that person to be bound. Because we've seen them, after stealing from this bank, then they go to another one. After stealing from this one, even employees. Banks have not been doing adequate background checks. You find someone from a particular bank, then it's employed in another bank. There are guys who are very good at business and they are very good at convincing MPs that are really doing this because are really this customer. Now when they do this, look at that and they say, I can really stand with from this way, but I take on the business. Now that will not be possible because if they find that you are employing such a person, you are also liable in some way or the other. So that's the good news, and that's how from UBA from and Federal School and the mainstream UBA, that's the initiative that we are coming up with.
Many thanks, Mr. Iga. Please wind up.
Now on collaboration, we will not be doing enough with all the institutions that fight AML and the financial crime. You find like we need a freezing order, for example. We know it's an issue that one freeze that account. Getting a court order also takes few days. Meanwhile, because of technology, the person can just remove that money as quickly as possible as the money is gone. Now, when we run to the FIA, we've been getting also sometimes as banks. The person like you make the reporting, you get the data, instructing you that the investigation has been done, and this person is okay. Therefore, release the money. And the guy gets the money. But in no way, as banks, you see like this guy is suspicious. Now, the police, at least the good news also for the police, because that is also something that we are going to resolve. That using our firms that federal is complicated. You can rely on our members because each institution is represented. Instead of going through the hassle of getting a particular statement or getting the difficulty, getting the document that you want, you go through those members that will be able to get that information very easily for us to be able to fight crime. Then the banks that have not been reporting certain cases and fulfill reputational damage, that is now not going to be possible. All big cases will be reported and investigated afterwards. The good thing is that all the players in the process, they are all aligned, and it will now be easy for us to be able to investigate and deal with the story start.
Thank you. Let's give him a huge applause. Thank you for giving us that good news. You know, there is an old loud stock that banks have not been keen on financial crime, basically money laundering, because it actually creates value for them. But I think now that has been refuted, and now we are glad that you are committed to fighting it. Thank you. Over to you, Lawrence. Please share with us. I would pray that we keep within the limits of time because we are already out of our time.
Thank you, moderator. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mine is very brief. Here on behalf of the chairperson, Uganda Bankers Association Compliance Committee, she sends a greeting, and the chairman was about gender, the lady, not lady, but I'm not using her in absence. So quickly, I'll discuss about the role of the chief compliance officer or risk managers. In this case, all banks have credit compliances and act as the laundering control officers of the institutions. And among the things that we are doing to ensure safety of data in the country, that we make sure that we oversee the AMLC program in the institution that we present. We also make sure that we report timely to the board of directors and senior management all AML CNT issues. As you're well aware that all legal compliances must be fully vetted by the central bank. That shows you how central bank views the role of legal compliances for money laundering control officers. We also work closely with all the stakeholders. My colleagues are here from Bank of Uganda, FIA, work with the police, Uganda Bank Association, URA, and ETC. Make sure that all the things that come in, we work together. We also create policies and procedures to safeguard our institutions. We also do risk assessments, annual risk assessments, to make sure that our institutions are protected and all the risks are mitigated. We report all the suspicious transactions to FIA in a timely manner, daily, and if it's suspicious, report in a timely manner. And the training and awareness, I want to emphasize, I must appreciate the Uganda Bank Institute coming up with this post-launch, which is on AML, CMT. This will go a long way to empower all our staff and resources to fight this vice. And the Bank of Uganda Compliance Workstream, subcommittee has 3 workstreams. One is the AML CFT, which I chair. The second one is the capacity building, and the third one is the compliance workstream. So the Bank of Uganda has come up with this compliance workstream to make sure that all banks are well trained, to make sure that all communication that comes to the central bank, we share them on a monthly basis. And this workstream also sits on a monthly basis, where they report to the main workstream on a monthly basis. So any particular that comes from the central bank, we make sure we discuss them, share with the management, and time report to the management. And also, as I wind up because of time, we have all talked about the training and awareness, which I have to emphasize. By Professor Lawrence, these fraudsters are also having a strategy to fraud institutions and banks on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, he tells me they also have a strategy and they sit like a city now and brainstorm on the new areas to hit banks. So this launch of this course will go a long way to uncovering all the new tricks for fraudsters, and I encourage all institutions and managers and CEOs here to support this program and to send their staff when this course is launched. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's give them a huge one. A huge one. Thank you. Let's give them another one. Thank you, comrades. It's only time that has not been alive, but we would have loved to continue with this engagement. Our program had a Q&A session from you, but I don't want to be so insensitive because the time we communicated is flying. But anyhow, let me get one or two. Let me get one or two from the audience. One or two from the audience, then we can see how we can move. Because I've been trained to be sensitive. If we agree on the time, I don't want to do otherwise. Okay, let's get 1, 2. The first one is there. 1, 2, 3. Cool. Yes, let's get, yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, panelists. Mine is kind of a request for something that surely should have been done. URSP should have been here. Going to listen to URSP. They're very important factors.
They are here. They are in a honorable position there. Please go ahead.
Now, in terms of the recommendations to debate on the project, one was amended to company to provide for beneficiaries, owners, investment information. Now, this present there are 9 stages of the self-identification. Now, at one particular point, you reach like stage number 4, and they request for PO box. Now, you can't go to the next step before you do PO box. Now, how do you still have a PO box now? You know, do you receive emails by PO box? So at that time, the customer stops, does not go further, proceed, put more detail, authenticate their funds. So they stop there. So from my point of view, I realized that 3 of my 2 customers are afraid to proceed and buy their stock. So can at least URSP, you should have made that point option. This is there. Honestly, PO box number. I raise my case.
Thank you, thank you. Let's get another one from that side. Many thanks, brother, for that insight.
Morning once again. Mine is more of a recommendation to the financial institutions. I think this whole business of MOUs and working relations, it's stifled, especially with the MOUs that institutions put in place. If you're looking at a country as Uganda in its entirety, you'll find that we in URA, to collaborate with maybe IG, it has to be about the MOU. And then when you look at recommendation 40 under the budget recommendation, international cooperation, that's where maybe the MOU should be effective than rather having MOUs internally. I mean, many times we requested for information from the banks, and back then it would take literally ages. Now, if you ask for information, it will come in bits. When I think she talked about buses. Right now, URA is looking at crypto virtual assets service provider. Many people are using cryptos. Quite a significant number is using cryptos to transact. And at one time we had, I think, car importers making payments, effective payments, using coins. Now, in so many investigations, you find that where these coins are used, it's devilish hard to make a trade of those. And this is where I'm requesting maybe the banking institutions coming, because most of these are using the banking facility. We've been getting information through the exchange of information from different countries, giving us actually their servers, people hosted in their servers, holding coins. So why isn't it happening here in our own locality?
Many thanks. You actually had to be here on the panel to share those insights. But thank you. Finally, we've got them. We have one there, behind there. And I fear to say that we are taking on one more.
Thank you so much. My question goes, so this being a course launch for AML from the Institute of Banking and Financial Services, it goes to them straight. We all know that we have the AML or a couple of AML certifications that most employers and regulators consider relevant to risk and compliance space, the likes of ACAMS and ACFA. I'm curious to know what kind of strategies does the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services have in place to counter or outshine these international AML certifications and make our own program relevant and appreciated by the regulators and employers? Thank you so much.
Thank you. That goes to the institute, and I hope they've noted that. Sorry. Okay, yes, we have one more. Did you pick it? Okay, kindly come again with that question because the CEO was she didn't pick it well. It is so much.
Maybe regarding it. time and again, personally, I don't know how many times I've been contacted, especially by people, I don't know why most of them are Indians, from LinkedIn on the update of their annual certification. And also, we've encountered so many times where the employers and regulators do recommend some international annual certifications. So I'm asking, like, what strategies does the institute have in place to counter or sharing these international annual certifications? How are they going to attach or put weight on this certification?
Thank you. That is noted. Yes, we had one here. Comrades, I fear that we are resting inside. That's my fear. I don't want to be insensitive. Yes.
Thank you, panelists. Mine is about this fight. As we see, the fight is in the banking sector. I have a question: when are the regulators going to give a report to other sectors, such as the building sector? We've seen a lot of individuals put acted and other dish out money during campaign. When will you find out the source of such money other than looking at the banking sector?
The fight is listening very Yes, people, please allow me. I fear, but time has run out. And I must say, I had questions for these intelligent people of ours. One of them, maybe you can take them. To what extent will the approved sanctions regime implement and contribute to the fight? Because even approved it has been tackled for. I hope I'm communicating to Fiona. The second one is the digital assets, or the crypto assets. Of course, how can we ensure compliance in their management? Because they are here. There's no question about that. Remember, when I was doing my postgraduate course, my thesis was on that, and I interacted with a couple of people even from the Bank of England. It was about taxation. My course was on taxation, but it is tricky, and that's why I was glad that our tax talked about this very, very critical. How robust are the risk management frameworks of financial institutions to fight against this? I'm glad that he effectively addressed that. How can we collectively contribute to the exiting the grey list as the captains? Because we've seen that it's not about exiting it. Countries like Mauritius exited it, but now they are still struggling with the element of what? Of trust. Anyhow, people, how I wish we had time. We'll have more independent deliberation with that, but we don't have it, and we want to be sensitive. So I would like to take you to another element in our program, and that is the launch of the training program. I think now the CEO, yes, comrades, people, let's give them a huge applause as they go back to their. So, hey, that you need to answer questions. Good. And I can see my brother Kira is looking at me. Please, take it.
Since the questions were not specifically asked, I will just, as I stated, quickly go through my personal knowledge of some of these. Starting with the one that I called how you can contribute to exiting the grades. Like I said, I think you've already done your part. Under the digital kind of 3 and 4, I think one part in terms of the financial sector is for the regulator, and then the other part is for user governance. But key, as I stated before, right now, is that in about, I think probably in January, the reviewers will be on the ground. By that time, you need to be conversant with the things we reported and you should be knowledgeable and capable of convincing them that you know what you're doing, number one, and number two, that you're actually doing it, which sometimes also requires you to do something practical. First, in terms of compliance, I think that's the work in progress. As I stated, and I think it's Reg 15, Recommendation 15, something new, it's about 3 or 4 years old. So, in terms of the compliance by Uganda, I think we're downgraded in non-compliance because of the past. So I think it's a work in progress. I think about Uganda, I think as the institutions that are related to hand money generated like past, but I think they are the best place to work on it. Sanction regime, if it is put in place very well, it really helps. Those of you who know about the Kenyan banks that were involved in national youth services, the dams and what, where you find a child of 2 has an account with $200,000. The central bank governor then, I think he has since redefined the banks. And this had nothing to do with the criminal element, which they settled with the DPP. But those fines, I can assure you, I think you bankers understand money more than most of us. So when they hit you on the bottom line, work will be done. I think let me leave the rest to the others. I would have liked to talk about BIO, but I think URSP is here in the best place. Thank you.
BIO and URSP also need to speak.
Well, nothing really directed to us, but I'll talk about the sanctions regime, how effective will it be. I know they had. The big point was the lack of legislation, which was addressed. Regulations are in place. And in informed you, we are coming up with a comprehensive sanctions regime for Bank Uganda for internal use application. And I don't wish any of you to fall victim for some already. That's what I can comment on that.
I think now we can hear from the URSP.
My name is from Regional Company. Now, my colleague raised the issue of box number, right? So I think have you read section 116 in the Companies Act, which makes it mandatory for every registered company to own a registered postal address. And that's where we come from, but the postal address. It's not really our making. It's because the law requires that this is compliant with, and it doesn't put the penalty of deregistration if you don't have one. So I would request my colleague to maybe ask his area MP to have this amended. Because we're also not happy with it, but we have to comply.
Okay, thank you for responding. It's political.
No, but there is a section of the law that requires you to have a registered postal address. And that's why you're being required to have one.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Francis, do you have any more one before we can wind up? Okay, comrades, I fear that our time is flying, but the CEO has something to comment before we transition to another stage.
Okay, first of all, to give a very big thank you to our panelists for the impactful thank you for that. And thank you for the audience for being active. What this has shown is that we had very little time. And there's a lot of work to be done, especially when we are together from different entities. And perhaps what we'll do, the panelists did that very And I think what we can do is to engage them as your representatives to see when we can organize a better, a more comprehensive, especially as we are heading towards January. People we might have had this activity in January. Now, to answer, to respond to that question about what we are doing, this is one of them. The Institute, by the way, is a depository of so much, but it is not known, the process that we have are not known to you well enough, or even the value, and not just the process, the potential and the ability to derive what you want is unknown to you. So today, coming here and being together, and you contributing into what we should be training you is one of those ways of making sure that you understand what you have. Yes, you're going to get international people coming to you, but they want to know your specific pains or your specific needs. And so I think what we're lacking is what? the standardization that has been talked to by more than one of the panelists. Number two. The number two is the buy-in from all of you, ensuring that when you get a certificate from Uibfs, it is a complete certificate, an evolving one, because through your membership, all these new things that are coming through, the dynamic issues, if you have studied and got that certificate, you will be called upon to say, okay, can we now upgrade to this, because of the new things that are coming through. And I think we are moving there. Once we have all the CEOs agreeing, once we have all these new things that are coming in, the guidelines that we're talking about of fraud, and the code that I know is coming up, I think it will be more acceptable to the CEOs, to the industry, that your certificate needs to be from the institute. We are also working internationally. We are thinking of partnership with agencies especially representing accounts and all, and we will update you. First, you will know that your institute certificate is good in Uganda, first and foremost, and then we can go beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam CEO, for that clarification, and that actually ushers us into another session. That is the program, the training program. Because after training program, I wanted to do a glorious send-off of you guys. Can we give them another big one? Thank you. So, please, you may take a seat. Thank you. Okay, so I believe that our IT is ready to take us through that. Comrades, all this was setting the ball rolling for the program. As we can see, that the Institute has prepared 3 audience posts for the board and top management, risk, compliance and audit, but also for the general staff. Please go ahead without so much ado.
The world is awash in financial crime. Numbers, organizations, public organizations, secular, religious, private movement, engineering. Despite the underlying nature of money laundering and terrorist financing, estimates suggest that sums in the excess of $2 trillion annually are laundered by financial criminals, drug dealers, and armed traffickers under the United Nations Office of Drug and Crime. And I indicates that money laundering would be somewhere between 25% of the world GDP, indicating that some countries like Uganda would be losing up to 5% of their GDP. That is 45 billion of the 45 billion GDP, 5% would be going to money laundering. The current situation is very the but threats being equated to the blacklist are imminent. In 2010, the government made high-level commitments with the Financial Justice Force and SRI. Financial Justice Authority has tried to do its best, but the systemic nature of financial crime requires more creative approaches. That's why we are coming up with a compelling proposition of a 3 audience course. Having the first one, that is the Board and Top Management Masterclass, whereby we do the introduction overview of the CFG financial crime concept, with that intention of equipping the board members with that for supervising money laundering and controls and rules and governance, also understanding their organizational vulnerabilities. And the second, of course, that is the second course, the risk compliance and audit officers, which is aimed at equipping them with the basics on how to develop risk-based approach, risk rating, amongst other key considerations. Then the last one is, of course, the tier 3, that is the general staff and the general department, whereby we want to equip them with sufficient knowledge to effectively recognize plans and suspicious activity, but also be aware of their legal obligation to recognize and reward suspicious activity.
Thank you. So I would like to request the CEO to come and give a little bit of a background. Then we can see whether we can try to amplify on those 3 courses so that we can better appreciate them. Yes. Please.
Thank you very much, Paul, for that. Colleagues, the Institute has been running AML programs. It's not the first time that we run it. Maybe it's not been well coordinated. So some banks thought, yes, we can come to the Institute and do this, or others didn't think enough of it. What we have actually noted when we visited the FIA was that there's been a lot of ticking off. You take a course to tick off. They actually told us that sometimes you invite them to train the boards for 30 minutes. So that when the supervision comes in and says, did you train the board? Yes, the board is trained for 30 minutes. And I do remember having a call also with the EDS, and he said, he gave me about 3 things that he thought were very key on his list, and ML was one of them. Of course, cybersecurity being another, ESG coming up. And then we said, how do we ensure that we come up with something that is good, that is acceptable to all of you, and which is not just looking at a particular audience. That's why we visited the FIA. Visited the FIA and went through what we thought would be ideal. There was a lot of conversation. Of course, Paul being our lead in this particular area, he engaged and came up with this. We presented it back to the FIA and it was found acceptable. So Paul, I'll let you take the team through the critical elements, yes? And then we can formally launch. My request is, I have heard we have a timeline. I think we've all had a timeline, at least to the assessment. So if it is January, then we must ensure that we get as many people trained as possible before then. What I'm committing to do, and what we are committing to do, is to pick up some of the elements we have had here. We only spoke to the FIA and of course the bankers. But we've had a lot of insights from the IDG, and all of you are experts. So my request is that when we go back home, we are able to re-engage and ensure that we have all the elements in there. So I want to hand over to you to do this very quickly, and then for the different levels, and then we can formally sign off that.
Thank you, Madam CEO. Comrades, as the CEO presented, that these are the 3 audience courses, and we begin with the board and the top management because we believe that that's where the real action should take place, because they have better visibility of the risk profile of the institutions, and of course they feel the heat. And I'm glad that when Francis was submitting, he put a lot of Kazito on the what? On the board and the CEOs. So we are looking at having an abridged course for them, because of course they don't have the luxury of time. So we would rather have some hours in person and some hours online. Anyway, it will depend on the nature of the underlying board. Of course, I would like to thank the Institute because we've had a couple of boards that we've trained, and they do appreciate that. So, of course, we are looking at giving them an overview of the AML CFT, some of which we've had in this interaction, because some have not yet appreciated how bad things are. Of course, the concept, but also the compliance program is very important because they should take the lead. And in this, we are looking at equipping them for supervising the MLFT controls and the requisite governance, understanding their organizational vulnerabilities and flaws, because they have better visibility of their customers, of their geographies, and of their products. Law enforcement investigations, because certainly one time they'll come. We've had Mr. Emojo mention about that. They need to understand what triggers them, the methods of dealing with them, and how possibly to remedy such. Then help them appreciate that there is an executive and a personal liability for a compliance failure. I'm glad that it was clearly stated. Then learn to strategize not just for ML risks, but for the wider risk management framework. So that is what we are looking at broadly. Of course, we've come up with the resources, but we are open to to other new ideas so that we can come up with something comprehensive. Please go ahead. Of course, the second one, as we mentioned, that is the one designed for the risk compliance and audit. Of course, this one is quite elaborate because of their pivotal role in this engagement. And we are looking at also helping them also better appreciate the compliance program, the reporting, the client identification and record keeping requirements, the ethics that Mr. Ibojong talked about, ethics, compliance and best practices, implementing controls, monitoring control, performance, and also the AML audits, which are very key. And it's a huge requirement now from FIA and BOU. And of course, the learning outcomes are quite many. I don't want to go through them because of time. And the third one, of course, is for the general staff, because they need to get an appreciation. They need to be equipped with sufficient knowledge to effectively recognize red flags and suspicious activities. They need to appreciate their legal obligations, recognize what we've done among the trainings that we've conducted. One of the propositions we've been giving to the top management is that you will have managed your liability if you train them, and some of them have actually been bringing all their staff to be trained, so that now the liability goes to the what? To the staff. Expertise about the subject from a regulatory, ethical, but also educational background, among other considerations. So, comrades, these are some of the things that we're looking at. Maybe the other slide, which will talk about the mode of delivery, which will be interactive, intensive, but also case study based, adult learning, centered approaches. So in short, this is not academic. It's going to be very adult learner centered, so that they can appreciate, and so that we can collectively build the body of knowledge. Comrades, that's our proposition as the Ghana Institute of Bank and Financial Services, and we are looking forward to having you as partners in this by making a commitment to have your stakeholders trained, upskilled, so that we can all make a commitment to fight against this challenge that we are having. Yes, I don't know whether Madam CEO wanted a comment. My fear is time, and one of the things I've been trained is to try to manage time. Please, you can advise. What would you like at this moment? Comments from there, or we go direct to the closing remarks?
We can have 2 comments. If there are any. Okay, I think let's get Chair. This thing coming. Board members, please. This is where the certificate will be yeah, so
with these colleagues, we're extremely delighted. Thank you very much. With these colleagues, we're extremely delighted, happy, and proud to launch the anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing program. The post-launch. So it's hereby launched, and kudos to all of us in the room. I'm going to invite Godwin here as well. I think the little video should be here as part of the whole launch program activity. say anywhere? Okay. He's the holder here. And, are you able to get all of us? Okay.
Are we able to get a picture quickly? Very, very quickly. Can I get a picture? Okay. Yes. As we go, let's do a quick one together. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we realize that we should have said some closing remarks, but we believe that there's no better way of closing this than actually launching the program. I would like to invite you to speak to us directly or speak through particularly the compliance and fraud teams at the BOU. I would like to welcome and invite the URSB, the URA, to speak to us directly, the police, IGG. I think there is a lot we are going to have to do together in order to come up with a powerful program. As we look forward to a very successful assessment in January. So I would like to thank you so much for coming and invite you for that group photograph. Let it be known that we are all going to do it here. Great. let it be known that we are all here when we are launching this. And I am looking forward to each of you holding that certificate. Thank you.
Hello. Comments, please come and take the photo, then we wind up in might and glory. Then please don't forget to do justice to the breakfast after this.
Thank you.